Miss McKellar, why did the turkey join a band?
I don't know. Why?
Because it had drumsticks.
Okay. Welcome back to our bonus episode.
Yes, we're so excited to have you back 2 times in 1 week. It's super exciting.
So today's episode, we are actually going to be busting myths about Thanksgiving.
Yes, we're giving you the truth all about Thanksgiving, all the things that you think you know about it, and what actually happened or what is actually the truth.
All right, let's get started.
Let's do it. So when we think about Thanksgiving, we think about like some key symbols. Like, what do you think about whenever you think about Thanksgiving?
I think about the natives and the Pilgrims. I think
Yes.
about turkey, my favorite side dishes like
Mashed
mashed
potatoes.
potatoes. Wow, okay.
Mac and cheese.
Of course, mac and cheese,
dressing,
pecan pie.
pumpkin pie.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yes, all of the things. Yeah, I think about a lot of the same things. I think about football. I think about the parade. I think about all sorts of things, right? But really, the true story about Thanksgiving is not quite what you might think it is. So we're going to go through some common misconceptions about Thanksgiving and give you the real truth about it. So starting off, let's just start with the Pilgrims, right? The Pilgrims are a separatist group. They came over on the Mayflower in 1620 to the New World looking for religious freedoms, right? And we think about them just sailing on over, establishing this beautiful society and just like living in peace and harmony and happiness, and there's no issues at all.
Unfortunately, that isn't quite the case.
No.
By the first winter that the Pilgrims arrived to the New World, nearly half of them had died.
Yes, either of starvation or disease, maybe a few of conflict, but not a lot. Most of it was really starvation, a lack of food, a lack of time to prepare for the winter. And so it wasn't so happy and peaceful and lovely and amazing as we might think it is.
All right.
So, Miss McKellar, why was the turkey arrested?
I don't know. Why?
He was suspected of foul play.
So, common misconception number 2. We are told that the Wampanoag tribe was kindly invited to the Pilgrims' Thanksgiving feast as a sign of friendship and love and unity.
Yes, how beautiful. But that's not really true. That's not really what happened. First of all, it wasn't really like a Thanksgiving dinner like we think about nowadays. It was actually a 3-day harvest festival. So it was really all about enjoying the plenty of the harvest, preparing the harvest, and then also thanking God. Because remember, the Pilgrims are a religious group, so that was super important to them. The other misconception is that the whole Wampanoag tribe came in and enjoyed this festival. No, it was actually only about 90 of them, which was really only about 1% of the Wampanoag people. So it wasn't a lot of them.
Not at all.
And the ones who were invited, they were mostly invited because they were either friends with the leader of the Wampanoag tribe or it's because they spoke English. What do you call a running turkey?
I don't know.
Fast food. All right, so even though it wasn't like a Thanksgiving feast that we think about nowadays, the Wampanoag and the Pilgrims were friends, right?
Not quite.
Oh.
This 3-day harvest celebration was actually just for political alliances. The Wampanoag tribe wanted to befriend the settlers to create an alliance against other native tribes and against future settlers.
So what did the Pilgrims really get out of this?
Well, one member of the Wampanoag tribe, his name was Squanto. Unfortunately, Squanto has a sad story. He was taken captive and he was sold as a slave in Europe, and there he learned English. He came back to the New World hoping to find his tribe, and unfortunately, they all had passed.
Oh no, that's so sad.
Yes. But Squanto, because he was able to speak English, was able to help the settlers. He taught them how to fish, he taught them how to hunt, and how to grow crops.
That's amazing and extremely kind considering he was enslaved by the Europeans.
Yes. So, Squanto did help the settlers. However, the whole Wampanoag tribe themselves did not take the settlers under their wing. They weren't really friends.
Yeah, and that makes sense considering when we think about the Harvest Festival, only about 90 of them came, not like the whole tribe.
Correct.
And it also makes sense that during this time they would want a political alliance. So it wasn't really about like, we're besties for life, but more of just, we need each other for now. What are turkeys most thankful for on Thanksgiving?
I don't know.
Vegetarians.
Oh, I bet. All right, common misconception number 4. The Wampanoag tribe and the Pilgrims lived happily ever after.
Yes, a lot of people think it was just peace, harmony, and love, but not really. So if you do study U.S. history, South Carolina history, you would know that this conflict between the settlers, the Americans, and the Native Americans will just continue in this cycle of pushing the Native Americans off their land, killing them, pushing them off their land, killing them. And that's really what's going to happen here. So unfortunately, it was only about 50 years later, and there was a massive conflict between the settlers in the Massachusetts region and the Wampanoags. They're going to be forced off their land. A lot of them are going to be killed due to disease and this conflict. So it wasn't really happily ever after for these two groups.
Well, it's really sad.
It really is. But I think what's interesting is nowadays, every year on Thanksgiving in Boston, Massachusetts, around where Plymouth is, you can actually go and see Native Americans protest every year on Thanksgiving. They have a huge protest out in the street. And basically the whole reason that they're protesting is just because this narrative has been creative that the settlers were so nice and peaceful to the Native Americans and they had no issues, and the Native Americans had no issues with them. And it doesn't really talk about the fuller story that Native Americans are going to be forced off their land and killed in a genocide. And so they have a massive protest to basically just kind of let people be aware and remember the full history of Thanksgiving.
That's interesting. I never knew that.
I didn't either. Shout out to my dad for telling me that. He recently went to Boston. He told me about it. What do you get if you cross a turkey with a ghost?
Oh, easy. A goblin. Gobble, gobble.
Not quite. A poultrygeist. All right, so we just talked about the fact that this Thanksgiving feast that we think about with peaceful pilgrims and Native Americans sitting down, none of it is true. But what's got to be true is what was served at this harvest festival, right?
Not quite. A lot of the foods that we think about that are Thanksgiving dishes actually aren't. The Wampanoag tribe was a coastal tribe. That means they lived along the beach and they had a lot of seafood for Thanksgiving.
Oh, what kinds of seafood would they have?
So they had oysters, clams, mussels, shrimp, lobster.
Wow.
And they even had deer, venison.
Wow. So lots of deer, shellfish. What about my favorite, potatoes?
Unfortunately, potatoes were originated in South America and have not yet been introduced to the natives or the Europeans.
Darn, so no mashed potatoes for Thanksgiving.
No mashed potatoes. No, turkey is a staple, and it actually probably wasn't eaten for the first Thanksgiving.
Wow, that is crazy. No turkey, no mashed potatoes. But there's something else that I know that a lot of families love to eat, and that is pumpkin pie. So did they have pumpkin pie?
They probably did have pumpkin, but not pumpkin pie. They also grew the 3 sisters. These are 3 crops that were commonly grown together: corn, beans, and squash.
Wow. So we have things like deer, and we have corn, bean, squash. At the time, it would have been called maize instead of corn. We have venison. That sounds like a lot of good food, but definitely does not sound like what we eat today.
No, not at all. There we go.
What's the best way to fix a broken pumpkin?
I don't know.
You use a pumpkin patch.
Oh, that's cute. All right, our final misconception is that Thanksgiving became a holiday to celebrate friends and family and all the things we're thankful for and the friendship between the Pilgrims and the natives.
Yeah, that's not quite why it became a national holiday. So actually, it had been celebrated for a pretty long time before it became a national holiday. But it actually did become a national holiday in 1863, and it was because Abraham Lincoln, who was president at the time, wanted there to be a national holiday all about Thanksgiving and unity and friendship, because during the time we were going through the Civil War. And so it was a time of deep division in our country, and he wanted to remind people about what was really important in our country. So he made Thanksgiving a national holiday to kind of give us a reason to come together and just love and be thankful for one another.
Oh, so he made Thanksgiving a holiday to bring the North and the South closer together.
Pretty much. It was pretty much just a political move at the time, but it was backed by a couple of people who really pushed for it. So there was an abolitionist and a women's rights suffragette, Sarah Hale, who had campaigned for Thanksgiving to become a holiday for years before it actually became a national holiday. And she basically said the same thing, that our country was deeply divided and we needed to be reminded of these things. And we had been celebrating Thanksgiving for a while, just not officially. And so she really campaigned for it to become a holiday. So thanks to her and Abraham Lincoln, we now celebrate Thanksgiving every year.
Although there's some difficult truths about Thanksgiving, it's still a great time to be with family, to be with friends, and to spend time with people who we love.
I agree. It's such a wonderful time of year, full of just like friendship and food and fun. And actually, we have a couple of other fun facts because, like we said, Thanksgiving isn't just about the Pilgrims and the Native Americans and the food, but now we actually have a ton of new traditions that we celebrate every year. So let's run through these really quick to talk about some of the traditions that we do celebrate.
All right. Fun fact number 1. The beloved Christmas song, Jingle Bells, was actually first written to be a Thanksgiving song.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know Thanksgiving songs were a thing. Number 2, America consumes about 1.4 billion pounds of turkey each Thanksgiving.
I can't imagine that.
That's a lot of turkeys.
All right. Fact number 3. About 50 million pumpkin pies are eaten for Thanksgiving every year.
That's a lot of pumpkin pie. But I know that's not your favorite, is it?
No, I'm an apple and pecan pie kind of girly.
Oh, see, I'm a pumpkin pie girl. We're going to have to do a poll. Which one do you prefer, pumpkin pie or pecan pie? It's not pecan, it's pecan.
Also, let us know if you say pecan or pecan.
Yes, we want to know. Big debates. Number 4, the first Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was held on November 27th, 1924. So it's been happening for over 100 years now. And it was actually originally called the Macy's Christmas Parade, but they changed the name. It didn't feature the giant balloons, though, until 1927. So your Snoopies and your Blueies and all of those things, you wouldn't really see those.
The next fact is the first football game that happened on Thanksgiving was between Yale and Princeton.
Wow, that's crazy. And that happened in 1876.
That was a long time ago.
A long time ago. That's insane. The last one is all about one of my favorite traditions to watch every Thanksgiving. It's actually when our president will pardon a turkey on Thanksgiving. So you can watch it every single year. Basically, the president has the power to pardon individuals. So every year, they kind of in a funny way pardon a turkey so the turkey doesn't die.
One lucky turkey each year gets to
Yes.
escape death.
It gets to go back to its family. I love it. So actually it was John F. Kennedy who was the first one to officially pardon a turkey on Thanksgiving. And then it was George W. Bush who made it an official part of the holiday.
That's so fun.
It is. All right, Miss McKellar, what are you most thankful for this year?
I am always thankful for my family. Fun fact, this will be my second Thanksgiving married. And what's fun about that is that we get to have 2 Thanksgivings.
That's so much fun. I'm also so thankful for my family. Some people here at Edwards know some of my family because they helped me coach the past 2 years. So I'm so thankful for them, Coach Patterson and Coach Hannah. But I'm thankful for my whole family. And I'm also just so thankful for you.
Aww.
You're such a good friend.
We're also so thankful to all of our viewers. Thank you for taking the
Yes.
time to watch.
It's almost been a month of the Pastcast, and so we have had such a great time, and we are so looking forward to coming back after break and giving you more episodes talking about all things South Carolina and U.S. history.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you know when we drop a video.
And never forget, we are also over on Spotify, so you can check us out over there. Thanks for watching.
Bye!